Hello everyone, my name is Kamlesh, and in this video we will look at a walkthrough of the complete R Studio graphical user interface which we will be using going forward. So I'll just start from the left top corner from the file menu. Here we can have different kinds of new files on which we can start coding. So our usual one is R script, which I have currently opened here. This is our R script where we will write our codes. Then we have our notebook which could be made. Then we have our markdown files. We will look into coming videos as how we create a markdown file. Then we have a shiny web app which will come in a different playlist. We will look into that as well. We use Plumber APIs. So these are web APIs which could be used to connect to any data source or web data source, and regularly data could be pulled from there. Then you can pull in a C file, C++ file, a markdown file, HTML file, JavaScript file, d3.js file can also be pulled here, a Python script, shell script, SQL script, Stan, and all these different options. You can even create a R presentation, and our documentation can also be done. So all these so many options comes here as the first option. Then we have, you can create a new project, you can create it in a new directory, an existing directory. We can do version control from a certain repository. Then we can open files, we can look into recent files. I was just creating a certain R code in data structures.r, which is showing up here. Then you can create, open any of the projects. You can open project in a new session, so a complete new session of this R studio will come up. Then you can import different data sets. Here some default data sets are already given, but you can actually pull data from many different data sets, and we will look into some examples in the coming videos. So we can pull it from text. We can have these read R is a certain package in R, which we will look into in detail. When we can also pull some Excel files, SPSS, which is another statistical tool. We can pull some data format which is saved in SPSS. Then we have SAS, we have Stata, so we can pull data sets from these ones. Then we can save, knit document, compile a report. We can publish as well. So when we click on publish, it gives you a certain publishing option. Well, right now there is no code, so I think that's the reason why it's not showing anything to publish. But when we create our shiny web app, it gives us an option to publish. Then we can print a report. Now going to the other options, you can edit things inside a certain code or a certain piece of long code. Then these are options where you can insert certain section in a code, and many different options related to the coding part. Then you can view it. You can change the pan size, you can zoom into a certain section, you can look into previous tab, you can look into the histories, you can look into files, plots that has happened, different packages which are getting used, environment, viewer, you can look into different connections. Then we come into the session. You can create a complete new session of, you can even terminate R, you can restart R, you can set a certain working directory, which we will do in probably in coming videos. Then we can, there are certain build tools. Then we can also debug the code. So in a certain code, if you feel that there is certain section in which you want to find out where the error is happening, you can toggle between breakpoints, you can clear breakpoints, you can even create a profile here. Then we have different tools. So install packages, this is something which we will use very frequently while learning R. Then we have version control here, we have shell terminal, different jobs that runs, we have add-ins and memory usage. So how much memory is getting used, how much is free. These, there are certain new features which I see after installing R Studio version 4.1.0. So this is a very new version. If you look at it, it has just come on 18th of May, and yeah, it's just like a month old. So, and then you have a help where you have RStudio documents, you have cheat sheets, You have keyboard shortcut help, so the shortcut is alt shift k. If you click on this, you can look into different shortcuts. So instead of clicking on things, you can just through practice you will come up at a stage where you will know all these shortcuts, how they work, and when to use them. So with that, now I'll go into different panels. So here, if you look at it, this is where we code. We can write any of the code. Then we just select it, and we uh, do control enter, and it gets executed. So I just added 1 plus 3 and it gave me 4. So this is the place where we look into it. This is our console. Then this is the environment. So if I just try to save in any variable into a variable named as x, I just try to save 5 as a value in variable x. So if you look here, the variable has come here in the environment. Then we have history, where I can look into what all codes I have already ran. If I want to again rerun it, I just need to select this and I just push it to console, and it get pushed to the console part. I can again just click enter and it gets executed. Then we can also select commands from the source of the current document. If I want to delete this, I can just delete these selected entries from history. So that can also be done. Now connections, this connection section shows up when you connect to some kind of a server, or let's for example you can take ODBC server. So when we connect to an Oracle database, all those connections will come up here. And then this is a new section which I've just seen in this new version of R 4.1, where they have put in some learn packages as well. So you can learn, they have actually created this learn R package. So we can look into that package. Now coming to the last section, we can look into different files that will come here. Then you will have different plots. You can even export those plots once they come up, like as you can save them as an image, you can take them as a PDF, you can copy them in a clipboard as well. Now here we look into different packages which has been installed. So right now I have not installed any packages myself exclusively. These are all the packages which came with the base R. And we look into stats package, and wherever it is ticked, it will be directly used. So even the datasets package, this consists of a lot of datasets. You can look into the details when once we click into it. There are just so many different functions inside this package. So that's how it is. And then we look at the viewer section. So we will look into this package part a bit more. I will just try to pull in one of the packages. So we just type in library and then I do data sets. So when I just click on this, now there are certain data sets which are put into our programming by default. So we can look into those data sets here. So these are all those data sets. This air passengers data set. So I just need to type in here air passengers, and it comes as an as in the tab, and this is our data set. So we can do many different operations, statistical operations, addition, subtraction, any kind of manipulation with this data set. You also get a lot of examples on how to work on these data sets inside that particular data set part. With that, so these are the different options which we get in the R studio part. Once we start creating some files here, those files we will see in this section, from where we can directly pull in my R codes, as well as some files also I can directly load it to my environment. So all these options we will go through in the coming videos. Thank you everyone.